Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. I'm Jason Harmon, and in studio today with me is Mr. Barry Cross, Region 2 Information Coordinator. And we've got some special guests around the table, Mr. Parker Swan and Billy Swan. So we're going to be talking a lot about the outdoors today, mainly hunting probably, but a little bit of everything. But first I want to talk about some current events that are I guess current news we might want to talk about and need to know about. And okay. It's about to be fishing season. Fishing guides are on the way. They have been delivered and should be in your stores daily in the next few days. Right now, the fishing guide, if you need anything, if you need to look up anything, you can go to the website. The whole guide is there in a digital form, and you can look up what you need to know. And there are a few changes that you might need to know about. The biggest one I can think of is a change in the crappie limit on Kentucky Lake. Yeah, that was I guess you could say a hot topic discussion, but it was 30 per day, now it's 20 per day, and you know, so people need to just know that and adhere to it, because if you're caught with 30, you probably won't have a good time trying to explain that. And, right. But that was one of the ones that in my area that stuck out to me. Right. And if you're watching at home, you can see on the screen, you know, what the 2017 regulation changes are. But yeah, pick up that hunting guide or go online, tnwildlife.org, right there under the angler tab, and it's the first thing on the list. Yeah, and then this was a new one that I didn't know about, that native Tennessean annual license. That was for non-residents who were born in Tennessee. They can get their annual license as a resident, pretty much. And so that one caught me off guard. But there are things you have to do to get that license, and you need to go on there and look at the requirements for that if you're applying for that license. Yep. And then the guide license this year, you know, make sure you got that. If you're a guide, you can apply for that. It's a pretty cool looking card. Yeah. And speaking of cards, the license this year, you can add on a hard card option and have that's right. And then what you said, option. It is an option. Yes. It's not a requirement. A lot of people are upset about that. They're like trying to make more money. No, this is an option that our license vendor has offered. They've done it in other states, and it's been received as pretty much as a collectible item, much like a duck stamp is. You know, right. A lot of people collect duck stamps, and the hard card is an option that has wildlife art from native Tennessee artist Ralph McDonald on it. I think there's 2 of them this year. One has a deer, which is a cool print, and then another one that Ralph related a story about missing a big bass. You know, so it's outdoor art that most outdoorsmen can relate to, and I think it's gonna be received pretty well. Yeah, if you're watching at home, once again, you can see behind us here on the wall. That's the bass that will be featured on the card. That's right. Yeah. Up until a certain point, and then once I think later in the year we're going to switch back to the deer. So and you can add on as many of those cards as you want. As a new card comes out, just pay an extra $5, go online and do that, and you'll get a new card with a new picture. So if you want to be a collector of those, it's a pretty cool deal. I'm going to. I mean, it's the first year, so I might as well get them all and keep on going. I've never collected anything in my life other than lots of fishing gear and turkey hunting gear, but that's something that I find interesting, so I'm going to get them. And some other recent news before we get to our guest, just real quick, the muskie, the state new state record muskie is official, and we've got that out there on our Facebook and on our Twitter and Instagram and all our social media. So it got quite a few hits this weekend on Twitter. I had posted it, and a lot of people liking seeing those state records. So. The fish of 1,000 casts. Who would have thought we would break that record? But I mean, this year has been the year of records. I mean, it's pretty amazing. You know, last year we started with the bass and broke state record then, and you know, there've been several other records broken, not necessarily
a lot of game fish records, but the tilapia and the couple goldfish and I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
but the records are there to be broken, and if people want to look up that, they can look on our website at tnwildlife.org. There's a list of the state record fish for different line class and that type of thing. So check it out. You never know when you might have a state record, Bill. I mean.
That's right.
Well, let's get to our guest, and I appreciate them coming in and being on the show today. Parker, your grandfather is one of our commissioners, Mr. Bill Swan.
Yes, sir.
And he was on the show not too long ago, and he was talking about some pretty cool awards and recognition you've received.
Yep.
And so let's tell the guest, or the folks, not the guest, but the folks watching and listening at home, a little bit about this honor you've received and how you got a chance to get this award.
Well, it's the Sci And Cabela'S Young Hunter of the Year. So I'm not sure if it was a 2017 or 2016. It was thrown up in the air, pretty much what it was. It took a while to win this award. It's about 4 or 5 years. We heard about it 8th grade. My grandpa told me I was going to be on front of a magazine and all this kind of stuff. So I was completely down for it. The first year, actually, I probably got 4th, 5th place. There's only about 10 people that apply for it, but it's pretty hard to get it. The next year, I was oh yeah, you'll win it, but no, and just kept doing it, and then that last year.
What are the requirements? I mean, what do you have to do to win the award?
Well, you have to write a 500-word essay about how you're a role model for hunting. You have to have an impressive killed list, so you can't just go out in your backyard and kill a doe and then say you volunteered here and then you're good. It has to be pretty impressive on what you do. You have to have a very extensive community service hours list. I did multiple different things with TWRA, helping them out, and I did stuff besides conservation that helped out other people. But it takes a big list of stuff in order to win.
Yeah. So did it get easier every year since you've kind of gone through the process?
Yeah, you have that list that you make the very first year, and then after that, if you do something, you just write it down, make sure, and you just keep adding on and on and on, and you send it in every August or September, and you hope you get a call.
Well, let's hit on that role model for wildlife. You mentioned that. What's some of the things you've been doing in your life that is an example of that?
Well, my grandpa and my dad always taught me to treat the outdoors with respect. So when, if I take my friends out in the woods or something like that, I don't, I've heard of people going out there and just, acting like goons, and, they see a squirrel and they shoot it just because they got to shoot it and they leave it there. I mean, it's just not the right thing to do. So when I go out there in the woods with my friends, I try to show them just how to respect the animals and the outdoors and other people too that are out there. And also when I was guiding on the Enterprise South hunt, the guy that I was with, he didn't know anything about hunting. That was his first deer that he killed. So, it's first impressions. So you got to make sure. That's
a volunteer situation, right?
It was, yes. Yeah, that was probably the most enjoyable volunteer work I've done. Yeah. Just get to see his face after he killed his first deer. That was probably one of the best things.
And a lot of these guys have never killed deer before, right?
No, they've probably never gone hunting before, but some of them have. But the one I took never gone hunting, I'm sure, and he never killed a deer for a fact. But he really enjoyed that when that old doe walked out, and he got to actually pull the trigger for the first time.
So you got to share the outdoors with somebody who's never really experienced it like you have.
It was awesome. We did the next year too. I kind of regret something though about it. We had a little bitty 4-pointer walkout, and the guy really wanted to kill a buck. And I told him, I said, there are big deer around here. This is totally your call, but they're definitely big deer. And he didn't shoot it, but I kind of wish that he did. I feel like that would have been a good time for him.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That hunt. Is that hunt a wounded soldier hunt? Is that what?
It's the Hunts for Warriors.
Okay.
Tennessee Valley Hunts for Warriors. They did that down in Enterprise South for 3 or 4 years, wasn't it? And then now they moved up to Crossville, not Tennessee Valley, but We do it up at
The,
Crossville
Now
now.
there's a hunt.
Yeah, slide that microphone. That's over.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now there's the Enterprise South hunt was there to help get the deer numbers back under control.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now that they're under control, that it's on a per need basis. I believe that's the way the agency's treating it. But there is a hunt now, another hunt that is in Fall Creek Falls
Okay. Yeah.
that to help control the deer numbers there.
We've been doing that a couple of years now. I
That's
guess.
2
or 3,
two
yeah.
or 3 years now. Yeah, and it rains every year, so
It's a good rainy hunt. Put them in some ground blinds,
That's
and
right.
there's a lot of deer, in that area right there.
there is. Yes, there is. And the hunt's getting better and better every year too. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you're able to, help out with that hunt and be a role model and guide and that sort of thing. What other kind of guiding opportunities have you had?
Well, I don't really know about like actual like guiding. Like actually taking someone that's never been out in the outdoors, besides like my friends, something like that. But when I take, like my friend Monty, he's never been fly fishing before, and I just got into that last summer. So when I got to take him out and show him how to handle the fish, make sure that you want to have your hands wet before you handle a trout or pretty much any kind of fish, really, to keep the coating it has on it. So and also not leaving them out of the water too long, stuff like that. Just making sure that you treat the animal with respect.
You're talking like a wildlife biologist. I mean, did you glean all this from your dad and your granddad? Is this how you learned all this?
Pretty much, just learned along the way. Just pretty much retained it all and just put it to use.
Huh.
Now, are you studying? You told me earlier you were studying wildlife biology. Is that correct?
Wildlife fisheries management at
Okay.
the University of Wyoming. So
how is it out there? What's it like being in school out that way?
it's cold. It's a lot colder than here. It's actually been pretty nice since we've been here. 40 degrees is pretty warm for me.
It's a dry cold. Right?
It's still cold.
What's some cool, interesting things you've got to participate out there and participate in out there in Wyoming?
Well, I haven't really done much big game hunting, but I've done some duck hunting out there. I go fishing all the time. I've gone up to Casper, Yellowstone, the mountains, like the Rocky Mountains. Plan on going down to Colorado fishing at some point. I don't know, just going around trying to see as much as I can.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Unbelievable. When I was coming up in college, I didn't know about wildlife degrees and any of that. And then I got out of college and started working more with an agency, and I was like, man, how did I not know about that? So for someone like you, being able to go into that and study it and come up into it, I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually get done with it and put it to use.
Mm-hmm.
How much more time you got left?
2.5 years, 3 years maybe. I don't know. I came in with about 23 hours in college from high school, so that's a year under my belt, and I just gotta keep
Depends on
doing.
how much fishing he does. I
Yeah,
guess.
for real. I'm taking 18 credit hours right now, so we'll see how that goes.
Pretty good load.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
So let's you've sent me some pictures, and I wanna show the folks at home some of these pictures, and we'll go through them and talk about maybe some of your adventures. Not just in Tennessee, but all across the country. So what's this one that we're looking at on the screen right now? What?
so that's a blessed buck. That was in Namibia, so that's in Africa. I went down there with the whole family. We each got about 7 or 8 different animals.
7 or 8 different animals each.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's quite a trip.
So the Plains game is what they're called. They're just different types of gazelles and antelopes and all that kind of stuff. This one right here is actually a pretty old one. If you look on the horns, it has like little white strips on it where the bumps are. Normally on the younger ones, they won't be as white or worn down from fighting and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. The guy taught us about the maturity of the animal and stuff like that when we killed it. It was pretty fun. During this hunt right here, when I killed this, it was actually videotaped, and I got to talk to my grandpa in a pretty emotional way, so that was pretty fun.
Cool.
'Cause I appreciated him for taking us down there.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I had a shot with you and your grandfather. Let's see, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about that adventure there.
Okay, so that's a kudu. That's another one of the Plains game. That's actually the number one animal I've always wanted to kill. So I was pretty happy when I finally got to take it.
And that's an impressive kudu there, too.
Yeah.
That's not a...
If it's more than 2 spirals, then that's good.
Wow.
It actually took a while to kill this. This was probably about the 6th or 7th day. We saw a herd of them, and we actually couldn't get on them till about the 4th or 5th time, and we were just running. We were just hauling through the bush, and I finally got a shot on it, and it was just 1 shot, 1 kill. So that was nice. And I walked up to it. I don't think I've ever been so happy.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody was having a good time. They taste good too, as well.
That was going to be one of my questions. Some of this wild game, is it most like that other animal? Is it pretty good? And this one,
I don't know if we tried the blessed buck, but my brother killed an eland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the steaks on that they're fantastic. And with the animals, we don't just leave it on the property. They take it to just like local camps and stuff like that. People that actually need the meat, because the whole camp doesn't, they don't need the meat.
Right.
So I mean, we take back is the hide and the horns, and then we give everything else to the tribes and the local towns that need it. So
kind of like a Hunters for the Hungry.
It gets
there.
used.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Goes to waste.
Yeah.
it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
Awesome.
Right.
That's great. Tell us about this hunt here.
Well, there are 2 birds right there.
Yeah, 2 birds. Was it 1 stone?
No, I wish.
Is this a Tennessee hunt?
This is the Sandhill Crane hunt. Yes, in Tennessee. We were up close to Dayton, Tennessee. I enjoy doing this. I do this about every year since it started, so about 3 or 4 years now. That's some of the most fun bird hunting, because where we were, there's just thousands of them flying, and when one comes low enough, you hope you get the shot on it, and that meat also tastes very, very good.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
What do they call it?
Ribeye of the sky.
Ribeye of the sky. That's right.
Oh man! All right, let's look at a few more here. This is a pretty cool shot here. What was this?
So we go up to Kentucky, or at least we try to every year. I hadn't been able to go up there since I was 16, because that's when the youth hunt, ended for me.
Mm-hmm.
But Mason kept going up there, my little brother on the left. But I finally got to go up there last year during May, and I was pretty excited. And me and my dad went hunting, and the first afternoon we were up there, this bird walks out, and you know what the rest is.
Perfect setup.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was good. My mother was up there, and we got to share that with her. I think it was Mother's Day, wasn't it?
Probably, I think so.
Or I don't know when Mother's Day is really, but we have this.
We'll work on that this year.
Well, on the calendar, we look and see it on the calendar. Yeah, but we printed this picture out and we gave it to her in a frame for Mother's Day, so
Awesome.
we got to share that moment with her.
That's cool. Oh, and here's we'll do the show this one. There's one more.
Oh yeah, if you look on the fan on this one, it actually has white streaks in it, and I thought that was pretty unique. We called where I killed this the Barking Dog Farm, because every time you'd roll up to it, there would be a dog barking until you pretty much left to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time. I think everybody on that hunt got a turkey or 2. So.
And speaking of turkey hunting, that's right around the corner here in Tennessee.
Yes,
April
it is April 1st.
April 1st. It's not a joke.
No joke.
Yeah, April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Opening day of turkey season. So get that on the calendars. It'll be here before you know it.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you were in our office not too long ago with your grandfather and helping score a pretty awesome looking deer. Both deer that they had scoring that day were really awesome.
They were a little impressive.
So, talk a little bit about getting into scoring and how about scoring that Tucker buck. How was that?
Yeah. So I got into scoring. I'm a SCI record book measurer. I took that course probably 3 years ago. Probably we wanted to use that for the award, saying like that I'm involved with SCI and I can also score any type of animal you want me to. So I took that course. It took a while. It was actually it was pretty hard. And then my grandpa texted me over the winter break and wanted me to come up and score the deer with him. So I was like, get to see the world record whitetail. Why not?
Yeah.
Came up here and there was another. It was a new southeastern record whitetail with a muzzleloader, I think is what it was.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool to see. I helped score on that too, and then the world record whitetail. That was an impressive deer.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to help out with that a little bit, and holding the tape measure, that helps too. So yeah, and I'd sit there and help with make sure the measurements were correct. Make sure that they weren't giving it an inch or two over, but so it was pretty accurate.
Pretty tedious, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it takes a while. We're probably there all day.
Kind of nerve-wracking, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was. I think we were there at like 9 a.m. and we didn't leave till about 4 or 5. So,
Wow.
Oof.
Besides that deer, what's something else that you've had a chance to score that's pretty cool?
Well, all the African animals pretty much that we have in our house, I got to score. So I got to look at blue wildebeest, eland, kudu, Gemsbuck. I have a gold medal Gemsbuck that I killed. I didn't send in a picture of it. I have a gold medal. A whitetail from Ohio. I have the I'm trying to think of it. The Yukon, the caribou. That scored silver medal in the record books.
Is this it here?
Yeah, that's it.
Let's show that. That's pretty impressive there.
Yeah, that caribou, we were out in the Yukon for 10 days, and it was just me, my grandpa, and my guide. And we spent 10 days together, and it was an awesome bonding experience. You can't really get anything better than that. We actually saw a smaller caribou than this, and my guide told me not to shoot them because they'd be like, shooting a 120-inch deer, which is not bad, but this was definitely bigger. He said, we just got back up from looking at them on top of this ridge that we were on, and within 3 or 4 seconds, I saw this one. He's like, we don't have time to get back in the Argo and drive down. So me and my guide sprinted down the mountain while my grandpa stayed up on top giving us hand directions on where it was. And I missed the first shot because I was so tired from running. And then the second shot, I did two more shots after that. It was 2 Texas Heart shots, and it dropped. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'd have been up on top of the mountain giving you hand signals. My running days are over.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty impressive. You mentioned the kill list earlier. That's a pretty impressive kill list you have there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a couple pages.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, the SCI, does that, I'm not familiar with it. Does it categorize by weapon and
for the record book?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as just like the Booney Crockett, but they score a little bit differently.
Uh-huh.
With the record book, they have rifle, muzzleloader, bow, handgun, darts. Even if you're into that.
Wow.
And then they have just like regions. You got to list if it's in a high fenced area or just free range. You got to put just where it at, like the exact address of where you took it, who your guide was, if you're through a company or not, like a guiding service. So it's a pretty big form you got to fill out when you send in your measurements.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Wow. I didn't know.
Well, let's talk to your dad here. Yeah, I'm sure he's very impressed or excited about your accomplishments. Tell us a little bit about what you think about all he's been through and accomplished.
Well, I'm just glad that I was telling someone yesterday that he gets all these opportunities to go. For instance, this summer. Well, I'll back it up just a little bit. While we were out, he was getting his award at the ceremony that night. He came up. He said, "I want to go ask Jim Shuckey, if most guys know who he is, if you're into outdoors, if he does any internships." And he was a little reluctant, I think, and maybe afraid that to go ask somebody that, And
right.
so I said, well, just go ask him. What's the? There's 3
happen.
things that could happen. He could just get real mad, and storm off, which I doubt he would. I said, or he could say, no, we don't do that, or he might say yes. And so, I guess it was kind of like asking some girl for your first date or something. So he finally worked up the courage, and he goes over there, and he said, sure.
Wow.
Wow.
So where I was going with this was, so here's this opportunity for, my son to go off to the Yukon now for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever and work. And, as a parent, you look back and you think, well, that you kind of want to say, well, I don't know that I really want you going out of the country for this, but then you just think back and go, well, no, go do it.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
That's
opportunity.
Right.
That's many. I think back, stuff I had opportunities to do and I didn't go do it. So I'm, don't put the brakes on any of this.
That's right.
Let him go.
Awesome. I mean, you got to be pretty proud. I mean,
oh yeah,
you've been taking this young man from the time he was 4 years old, maybe.
There's a picture of that little you had there, Jason, of the
find that one.
Spike.
I mean, for you and as a dad, being able to share this and him actually enjoying it, I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and got to feel a sense of pride for you.
Oh, sure. I mean, just the fact that I've always said, I'll always take you, but I'll never make you go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good philosophy. That's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, just if you want to go, we'll go. And there's a pretty good quick story I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We were turkey hunting one day, and I knew he didn't really want to be there, but he's like, well, should I go or should I not go? I said, well, I can promise you one thing. If you lay in bed, you won't get one.
That's right.
If you go, and I always joke with my wife and say, well, if I'd known I wasn't going to kill one, I wouldn't have gone.
Right.
Right. So we're sitting there in the woods, and it's probably not real warm, and it's probably raining a little bit, and he's like, oh, I want to go. I said, you got to be still. I said, well, fine, we're going to get up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I told him, I said, if we'll sit here long enough, that bird we hear back here behind us will eventually show up in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just wouldn't have any of that. So I said, fine, we're going to leave, but we're going to go real slow when we walk out of here. And we didn't walk 30 feet, and we spotted that bird. And he sure enough, he was coming right to us. So we just backed up in the woods. And not even 10 minutes later, 45 seconds later, we were carrying him to the car.
Yeah. Nice. I had the same experience with my daughters. I got 3 daughters, and they all are in various stages of their hunting life. But I always tell them, they say, Daddy, do you think you'll kill one? And I say, baby, I wouldn't be going if I didn't think I wouldn't.
That's right. That's why they call it hunting.
That's right. I had actually this past season before last, my middle child, we were in a blind deer hunting, and she's getting anxious. Let's go. It's almost 10 o'clock. And I said, all right, 10 o'clock we'll go. I didn't want to go at 10, but we'll go. So I take the blind, I just throw it over us, and I'm packing up all the stuff, and I stand up, and there's a buck standing there looking at us at like 60 yards. I'm like, get your gun. But they learn, and obviously Parker's learned a lot.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any. I mean, he can go out and hunt on his own, and
that's awesome.
I don't have any worries. But, yeah, he's already got stuff lined up for the next 3 summers now, to go do. And
is he teaching you now? I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
I'll never say I know it all. I mean, I just learn any chance you get.
Well, you got a future biologist here. I mean,
that's right.
He's be able to ask him questions somewhere down the road.
That's exactly right. I've got his younger brother Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Has already decided that he's already told a few officers to save him a green truck. So that's what he wants to end up in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Parker's probably more in the biology side of it.
You think you want to work for Tennessee, or what's your thoughts on that?
I actually I haven't really made plans for when I get out of college, but it's kind of like my worst case scenario, but it's not a worst case scenario at all. Like working as an officer, I kind of want to go into like the outfitting part, not the guiding part. Like the guiding part's awesome. Like it's awesome and fun. But being able to make a living off of being an outfitter, it'd be pretty awesome to share experiences with multiple people. Not just the guiding part, just one person at a time.
I'll get your card later.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish Doug was here. Parker might be able to show him how to catch a few fish. He was talking about fishing earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, well,
poor Doug.
Yeah, poor Doug. Parker, thank you. Billy, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to have you here, and congratulations on your achievements there, and good luck with finishing out school and
should go good.
pursuing those careers. So I tell you what, thanks for joining us for this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. Glad y'all were here. Check us out at tnwildlife.org. We're always here. Thank y'all.